shower, didn't I? Did you kill it?
I killed it.
You killed it. Nice.
Sharknado.
Welcome to Crack Movie Club, the show that's like a book club, but about movies which are like books, but better. I'm your host, Jordan Breeding, and I didn't write an open, even though this is my third time doing this. I should have written one. And I'm joined by my co-hosts, Jesse and Allie. Say hello.
Hi.
Hello, Jesse.
I'm Allie, and sitting between us on the couch today is our first ever guest, the beautiful. Do you mind if I say beautiful?
Please.
The beautiful, the
demand it.
talented. Yes. It was in her rider that I said beautiful first. TikTok star, Jenny Arimoto.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Jenny,
Yeah.
for coming and hanging out.
You're breaking the seal.
Yeah.
Now we have.
I love that.
Wait, I thought it was about sharks, not seals.
They're actually genetically
Incredible.
the exact same thing.
Huh. Okay, that sounds scientifically sound, just like the rest of the movie.
Just like what we did to wolves to make dogs, that's how seals came about. They were originally sharks.
And then they
we
liked being
domesticated
cuddled.
them.
We domesticated them into
Right.
seals, yeah.
Great.
Since you have
idea.
such a good handle on this, why don't you recap what movie we saw and give us the title?
So, we saw Sharknado.
Yes.
It's all pretty much in the title. Everything you need
Yeah.
to know is in those syllables. It's just, we follow a bunch of, like, beach hunks and beach babes as they try to scramble away from the beach, so they're getting out of their element.
Right.
Because, as we see in the very first frame of the movie,
First frame.
there's a tornado that's just chock full of sharks.
Yes.
And so this is this Sharknado is attacking LA. It almost seems to have, it's like how the city is like the fifth character of Sex and the City or whatever they
Yeah.
always say.
Yeah.
The Sharknado is like the fifth main character of Sharknado. So it's increasing. It's as the storm makes landfall, it's shooting sharks into ever more unexpected places up into the city and into the hills of Hollywood. And these handsome folk just get continually more maimed and killed by sharks in ever more just absurd ways. And I think that's about it, right?
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
Yeah.
What?
And then the movie ends, and then there are 5 more after this,
Yes.
Yeah.
which we are not going to cover. But why did you force us to watch this film?
At gunpoint.
Yeah.
What inspired you?
Well, first I misunderstood the prompt and thought it was supposed to be a bad movie.
Well, it was.
It
But
was a bad movie.
so that I did decide
succeeded on
based on that.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hey, it's okay. We can blame this on Jesse.
Yeah.
It's really not
though.
too late.
For sure, Jesse's text was unclear.
Unclear.
But also, I just love bad movies. So I do love movies like this. It's a short 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyone can do it.
Not
It felt so long.
was
The
long.
longest
Anyone
90
can do
minutes
it.
It
of
has
my
like
life.
it's like 20% higher on Rotten Tomatoes than Marvel's Eternals.
Really?
Wow.
That means people had more fun. I will
Critics
say
had more
fun.
fun.
the actors in Sharknado are having fun.
Yes.
And I always respect that and would always rather watch a bad movie where the actors are like, I don't fucking know, let's just do this, than one where they're like no, I swear to God, this is really good.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can
Totally.
see in their eyes that they
Well-
don't know that they're trying to convince themselves it's good. Like Tara Reid at no point is like, this singing is really big for me. I'm gonna really have to nail this one. Like she's like, whatever.
I think the
100%.
perfect distillation is the very last scene where Tara Reid finally kisses what's his name, and she pulls back and just has this smile that you can tell is genuine. It's like they know it's over. They know she just did the cheesiest thing in the world. The main character, what's his name?
Finn.
Finn.
How could you not remember
Finley,
Finn?
Finn.
I'm not
Sharks.
good with metaphors. And so Finn, covered in blood, and Tara Reid smears the blood off of his lips and then goes in and just like plants one on him. And then she pulls back and she smiles, and that was kind of what made me realize like they're in on it. Like
Yeah.
they weren't
Oh,
taking it
100%.
seriously.
There's a moment
It's also
when
called
they
Sharknado.
Yeah. When they introduce Tara Reid's character, she's on a staircase in her home, and the set dressing behind her is one of her headshots.
Wait, I was
really?
gonna call that out. So there's
Obsessed.
multiple photos in that set that is just photos of her either on the red carpet
Yes.
or a headshot of her.
that's
Just like
so
straight
fun.
up pulled from IMDb,
Yes.
Getty Images. They were like, print it. We didn't have set dressing for the hallway. No pictures of the daughter or son.
Yeah, exactly.
First of all, twist that there's a son. That comes in the third The third half.
The third half.
favorite
That's how
half.
long this movie was.
Sid Field thinks it's very important to nail the third half.
Yeah, it's like, what's that at the end of a soccer game where there's like inexplicably just like several more minutes of game left?
Yeah.
That's what like most of this movie
That's
felt
when they
like.
bring in the sun for this movie. Shocking, phenomenal. I mean, one thing that a major strength I think of the movie, besides the fact that the actors are having fun, is that of course the question is, what is a Sharknado? And that question is answered in the first frame. And I think that that's brilliant.
I think that's really interesting too, though, because the rest of that scene evidently has no bearing on the rest of the movie
Nope.
at all. It's it's a Captain Ahab type talking to a businessman who wants to buy his sharks just for the day, like just what he caught that day, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
For either $100,000 to $1 million.
Right.
He also gave him some soup, shark
Yes.
soup,
Shark fin
shark
soup.
fin soup.
They talk about that in Clue. Shark fin soup. That's the only time I've ever heard referenced.
And there's a betrayal. The businessman is like, actually, never mind. I'm going to take over the boat, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure how he's going to do that.
Bad
and then
choice.
they all die, and then the movie begins.
Yeah.
I thought it was like maybe the director's nephew's short film that he made about
Yeah.
sharks.
It was the
and
part that was cut from Captain Phillips when they scrapped the first script and then they made it better in the second, like when the next time through.
Yeah,
That's what remained of the
Right.
first pass.
Yeah, Shark like gets on board and he goes, I'm the captain now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was sort of a red herring, no pun intended, because I thought that was setting up that those sharks
puns
were
allowed.
special. Do you know what I'm saying? I thought the reason that he was
Yeah.
buying the sharks is because they were like genetically modified to be like super killer sharks, and that at some point in this movie they were going to be like, these sharks don't act like any other shark I've ever seen. They're so smart. They come out of storm drains. They're bloodthirsty, and then we find out they've been like genetically modified.
Oh,
but
interesting.
instead they're just assholes.
Yes.
It seemed like
And
there
all
was
sharks are.
Yeah, it seemed like there was going to be some payoff from
that's the
like
theme, yeah.
the first sharks we saw. Like, yeah, there's going to be some sort of like sci-fi element to it, but
It was on sci-fi.
it was on sci-fi, yeah. But
As they say.
I have to say it the way they say it.
that's how it's pronounced when it's spelled SYF.
Yeah, yeah.
You're gonna give your
Say-fi.
channel a weird name. I'm gonna say it weird. But then at one point,
Stick it to 'em.
the weather person who, what was her? Her name was like Stormy, like
No, I thought her
Daniels?
name was Jody.
Oh yeah, Joni with two N's.
Joni-
She kept saying her name over and
Yes.
over
It
again.
was like Joni Waves or something.
Yeah.
It was
Yes,
like,
I watched it with subtitles, and Crunch and Scream were the two biggest subtitles, but also Joni with two N's. I was like, okay, interesting. I never
Yeah.
thought of a person being named that.
Yeah.
in my
well,
life.
so pretty early on, Joni Waves or whatever explicitly says like, "This is because of global warming."
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
like, weather report.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, all right, well, fine. So there's nothing deeper. It's just there's a big storm and there's
Yeah.
sharks in it now.
Yeah. I mean, they talk about, they're like, they can't decide what's weirder. Or a water spout hitting LA that has come from Mexico in their estimation.
Yeah.
They're like, it's just so weird. They don't usually come up this way.
Right.
Or the fact that there are sharks in it. Because then somebody's like, but there are sharks in it. And they're like, water spouts can pick up anything. They pick up things and they put them a mile away. Like, that's normal. So the
Yeah.
water spout's weird. The sharks being in it is like, could not be more normal. Most of them have sharks in it.
And I love that halfway through the movie, she says something to the effect of, there are unsubstantiated reports that there are sharks in the water. Also, maybe falling from the sky. Or like, she's like, they're in the streets, maybe. Also, maybe from the sky? I don't know.
Yes.
It's unsubstantiated. It's like, well, we've been watching it for a while.
Yeah.
Where are you located?
I just love that no one knows what's going on except for like the five main characters.
Yes.
Right.
It's like everyone is shocked when it's happening, but I'm like, aren't you all living in the same place where the sharks are falling out of the sky? Like under the same sky, but
Yeah.
everyone's always like, what?
And then even the cops are like, hey, we're going to arrest you for going past this barricade. It's like, now? There are sharks falling from the sky. Nobody's on the same page in this movie.
No.
It felt like it was completely made of like almost like found footage, but like when in the car chase it was especially clear that like there was never two cars in the same
No.
shot. It was like a cop car like definitely not speeding. It's definitely going the speed limit, and then quickly cut to like people inside the car being like, "There's cops back there."
Yes.
Well, and also they definitely like sped them up. Like when they cross the intersection, it's like they went at like 7 miles an hour, but they're like, if we speed it up, it'll look very
Yes.
real.
Yeah, wait, there's a
very
quote I wrote
dangerous.
down that was really great.
There
About the car.
So that's actually the first major point that I wanted to talk about was the dialogue.
Yeah.
Very, very campy, but I feel like it served a couple of purposes. And one that we were talking about earlier is like, that's the exposition. They can't actually show any of this stuff happening, so they have to have characters like say what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can't show it because they
It's a
couldn't afford
Sharknado.
to
Yes.
make it happen.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm
Two
saying?
different
It's not like they literally can't show it because our eyes would melt out of our
Yeah.
heads.
It's too
Yes.
awesome.
Do you know what I'm saying? They only
Yeah.
can't show it because they'd be like, oh my God, it's happening. He's being eaten right now in front of my eyes. You gotta trust me.
Yeah.
Like, they just didn't have the budget to
100%.
make it.
So much of the scene was shot in a car
Lots.
or like in one part of a building,
Yeah.
like one corner of a building.
One corner of Tara Reid's house.
Exactly.
Just the one with
Just
the staircase.
one staircase.
Yep.
Because that's the budget. That's what like 80% of the movie is.
That's the fun part, I think. Don't you think that if this movie had a bigger budget, it wouldn't be fun anymore? Because the fact that this exists on the axis of no money and bad movie, but sometimes lots of money, bad movie makes the movie worse.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm
you
saying?
mean. Yeah.
They built
think-
a bridge over the uncanny valley.
Yes.
They
Yes.
didn't even bother like trying to get the technology up to speed. They were just like,
No, they got shark. They got like stock footage of sharks that they edited beneath the water, and
Yeah.
it was a shark was like spinning in a circle.
Right. There's one scene where like the old people are getting out of the pool, and it shows the stock footage of the sharks like 1,000
Yeah.
miles underwater, and you're like, damn, that pool is very deep. You should not put the seniors in it.
I think that weirdly is the saving grace of the movie.
Yeah.
I think if they had more
Seniors?
money, it would be
Yeah, they're hot.
really bad.
So,
Worse.
I do feel like, the dialogue was obviously bad, but to your point about the actors having fun, I do feel like some of the lines were kind of funny in a very weird way. Like, for example, the Australian, he's like, oh, we gotta drive through these waves and sharks
Yes,
or whatever.
The aerodynamics in this car cannot match the waves.
That's right.
Duh.
Right. Okay, so
The aerodynamics of this car.
that line is amazing, but also he's like, there's sharks in the water. The kangaroos already added the paddock.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
wow, nice.
that's interesting that you have a phrase about animals doing something bad, but like,
Not the shark.
yeah, there are sharks. You can just say there's sharks in the street.
They don't have those in
It's
Australia.
weird. It's weird
They only
to
have
be
kangaroos.
like, yeah.
Everyone
Like we
else-
don't have a word for this. It's the water kangaroo, the bitey ones. They're out of the
Paddock.
All of the Americans
small-
in the car would not have gotten it
Yeah.
if he hadn't said kangaroo.
Kangaroos.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, well, you can just say what's happening. It's not just that there are bad things happening, like a kangaroo escaping a paddock. There are sharks. Like, that's a problem. There are sharks in the street. It's interesting to be like, I think sharks in the street are bad, but like, how bad? Like, can we compare it to another tragedy? Like
If
maybe
you've obviously
kangaroos in a paddock.
never been around a kangaroo that's out of the paddock.
I haven't, but he has.
Yeah,
and he's
he knows.
warning us.
It's just
Yeah.
as bad.
A kangaroo will fuck your shit up, actually.
Oh yeah.
They're
They're
scary.
like really strong
Yeah.
and scary.
Yeah.
Are they aerodynamic
They're more
Compared to
aerodynamic than
the
waves.
waves.
to the waves?
I thought there's the expository dialogue that was just necessary and but I thought when they tried to be funny, did not work. Like what's one line when like he was he was just like speeding up the car a little bit and he just yells, "Hold on to your panties."
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like everybody laughs and like I can picture the exact person that would write that line. Which, by the way, did you see what the writer's name was?
No.
His name was Thunder Levin, I think. I'm pretty sure his Thunder was his first name.
It might
I'm
be a
obsessed with
fake.
that.
It's probably like
It's
Scorsese,
his
but like
given
slumming
name.
it. Yeah.
I kind of love that.
I'm obsessed with that.
Yeah, so A guy named Thunder, a guy who's trying to, his professional name is Thunder, is
Yeah.
definitely going to write a line like, "Hold on to your panties."
There's another one where he's climbing the rope at the end, and the sharks are like after the school bus, and they're trying to bite him, and he goes, "I've had enough of you."
Oh, yeah.
And
And,
he
then he
cuts the
cuts
rope.
it off.
I had
Yeah.
to rewind that a couple times because it didn't sound like I could not understand what he said.
What do
That
you
was
think
the
he
dumbest
said?
thing. That's what it was, though.
They had enough of you.
I've had
Yeah,
enough
and
of
it's
you.
like
you.
it's a very, very clear John McClane setup. Like say a pun or
Something.
James Bond pun or something like.
It all felt very.
I can't think of one. Neither could Thunder,
But
but he
neither
was
could
getting
they.
paid.
So,
Well, it was also very like Detective Crashmore. If you watched,
Yes.
I Think You Should Leave.
Oh yeah,
It's the
Yes.
sketch with the.
suck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like the "you suck" line in this movie was, "Oh crap." They said "oh crap." at,
lots
like,
of oh crap. Actually, when the old drunkard died,
Yes.
his exact dialogue was, "Oh, get off me."
That's right.
And then he died.
Oh man.
And then they were going to be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." He said, "Get off, guys.
Oh, hey,
We got to go."
he
Oh,
called truce.
get off me.
But see, if
That was
you
it.
knew, kangaroos don't get off either.
No.
Yeah, but he didn't know that either.
Once
He's the
out
old
of the
drunk guy.
paddock, once in,
Okay, when Finn's
it's
like,
off.
Not gonna lie, it's pretty hot when you do that.
Oh yeah.
And what was it?
Oh my
When she like
God.
cocked a gun or something?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And then
it
Tara
was-
Reid in the back is like,
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. She's like, shoot, he likes her.
yeah, her
Yeah.
boyfriend had
But then
died like
he
30
also-
seconds earlier.
Doesn't like her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of a twist. Like that actually the son likes her.
Yeah.
Surprise.
She like threw herself at him at the beginning.
Yeah.
And he was surprised. And I was like, what? Are you surprised by this? Like, it's a brand new
Yeah.
thing. And then also, she knew nothing about him being married. I was like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Did you just meet? Like,
Yeah, you're
what's
like,
happening?
It's your boss and you're in love with him, and also you
also-
didn't know everything about him?
Or anything, really.
Or really
anything.
anything.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk of Van Nuys in this movie.
It was half just like talking about LA, places.
It felt
Yeah.
actually, it was probably the most realistic thing about it.
Yeah.
Like people in LA can't stop talking about how to get to places in LA.
Yeah.
And they were just like, we gotta take the 405 to Van Nuys. No, it's gonna be flooded. And I was like, this is so realistic.
Yeah.
They did in that scene say 405 5-6 times.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
They're like 405? Yeah, we should take the 405. You know what I'm thinking?
We gotta take the 405.
405.
At this time of day, it's better than the Cross Expressway. Okay, fine. It
We'll
was
take the 405
It was
then.
truly very realistically what it's like to be in LA with people.
Yeah.
Just
Was
people
this-
arguing in a car.
Was this before, what's that SNL sketch? That's
Oh, the
joke?
Californians?
Yeah, the Californians. I wonder if this is before.
Well, this is
the Californians or-
2013.
Yeah.
So probably around the same time. What came first?
Oh.
Boy. Actually, speaking of 2013,
Yeah.
when did you first see this movie?
2014.
Like on TV, at a party? Like what brought this to your life?
I wanted to watch it, and I remember it was July 4th, and I was drunk,
The best
and
time
me
to
and my
watch
friend
it.
were like, it's time to watch Sharknado. But I loved it because I was drunk. And this was
just
probably the
had-
second time I watched it.
We just had
It's
this
very different.
experience because I recommended that we watch From Justin to Kelly, which is a movie I remembered having a great time watching. Watched it sober for this, we could take notes. Had a bad time.
Yes.
It
Had a
was
bad time.
So I
unpleasant.
learned my lesson.
So it just really goes to show, like, you can't trust your opinion of any movie that you see.
Yes, but
Not
also movie
sober.
quality has changed so much since 2013. That's
so true.
That's part of it.
Now
Well,
we don't
and-
have dialogue like, oh, get off of me.
Yeah.
Oh, get off.
We've really come.
Relic of the
We've-
past, yeah.
We've worked it through our system via 5 other Sharknado movies. We got all the bad stuff out, and now we're only making hits.
Only hits.
So that's what I feel like is interesting. So they made this movie. It's made by the Asylum, which will make so Dune came out, and they made like
Yes.
the Dune planet or whatever. Like they'll make knockoff terrible
It's
movies.
made by the knockoff people.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen their Pacific Rim knockoff.
Okay. It's like Jeff's Rim or something.
Atlantic Rim.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
something like
Okay.
that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so they made it, whatever. They
Yeah.
just made it to make it. It aired on Sci-Fi and it did okay, but for some reason they thought they should do it again, so they aired it another night and it did better. So they aired it another night and it did way better, and then they were like, "Well, shit, let's put it in theaters." So they put it in theaters. I don't think it did that well, but all of this is still significantly more than you would get from Atlantic Rim,
Right.
from
Yeah.
Red Dune Planet, or
I
whatever.
mean, the reason they make those is because they hope that confused grandmas will buy them for their grandkid.
Yep.
And be like, you said you wanted Dune World. He'd be like, no, grandma. Like, that's why they make them, right?
100%, because
Okay.
it's always in Redbox. You go to Redbox
Uh-huh.
and you'll see, you're like, oh, I think Dune just came out. And you're like, yeah, that's probably
That's probably it.
right.
Yeah.
They do like
Doone.
District
That's gotta be
District
it, right?
10, which
Yeah.
is actually going to be a real movie now. But they'll do like District 9, but they spell 9 or something. 9?
So yeah, this
Yeah,
made
like
more money
German.
than that.
District no.
Well, so the reason that it got that second run on Sci-Fi, right, was just because people started tweeting about
Yes.
That's what it was. You're right. Celebrities started tweeting about
it. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
it. Yeah.
In fact, wait, what was it?
Celebrities
Like-
started tweeting about it to say, like, this was fun, or to be like, catch my friend Tara Reid in this movie.
No, more of that
think
first
it was
one.
the-
More of
yeah.
like, this is so bad it's good, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I
And they
respect
really
that.
leaned into that. And then what was it though? One celebrity, like in all the trivia sites about this, it's always like, it was this guy's last tweet before he died.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
They
Oh
tweeted
my
this.
God.
Yeah, but yeah, it was
Abraham
really the
Lincoln.
power
George
of
H.W.
Twitter.
Bush.
And it was his favorite movie.
Oh, it's my favorite celebrity.
Oh man. Yeah, but it was the power of Twitter, is the power of everyone being like, wouldn't it be funny if we made this a big deal? And then it was like, I think it was an early example of that working, and that's why
Yeah.
our lives are the way they are, because all social media just exists for that.
And probably that gave Asylum the life. Like they made more money on that than they will make on anything ever. So that
Oh, yeah.
funded them forever, and it spawned this entire. The director made another movie called Zombie Tidal Wave, which very similar.
Wow.
I mean, Sharknado 2 takes place in New York, and I gotta say, it did occur to me to watch it. Because I was like, where are they gonna hide?
Oh my God.
I am interested to
Could
know.
this happen?
could this happen
I
to me
need to know
here?
how accurate the science is. They also made a spinoff called Lava
Yeah, it was
Lava Tarantulas.
Ew.
Which,
Tarantulas in the lava.
Speaking of
Not anymore, 'cause he has
Lava-lantula,
spiders.
Steve Guttenberg was offered the lead role. He's offered the role of Finn in this movie. He turned it down. He regretted it so much that he jumped at the chance to star in Lava-lantula, which didn't turn into anything.
Right.
but
Right.
And it's a
making all the
spinoff, to be
wrong moves.
clear. Finn shows up briefly to be like, oh shit.
I think
That's Lava-lantula.
I think he just jumps in to be like, I think he literally says like, I'm busy with shark stuff right now. Something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, I also
Who isn't?
when I was looking at this second movie, Sharknado 2, it seems like they also just cut the cast down. And they were like, we're going to have Finn and we're going to have Tara Reid's character, maybe named Alexa?
I called her Tara Reid and everything.
Yeah,
I
too.
truly can't remember.
I think it's just the two of them because the premise is that they are flying to New York for I was going to say a book premiere. I don't think that exists. But she wrote a book about surviving the Sharknado.
Oh my gosh.
And so like she made it like
Girl boss.
the girl boss's guide to surviving a Sharknado. Like I swear to God, you're not wrong. And they're like flying and like as they're like landing at LaGuardia, they're like, there are reports that there are sharks. And they're like, and that's like what happens.
Wow.
But I think they also were like, Nova didn't test well with the audiences. The Sun didn't test well with the audience. They just like cut the other character.
Oh,
Get rid of
man.
them.
I like Nova.
Yeah, she had a great
Yeah.
scar on her leg that she wouldn't tell anybody
my
about.
gosh.
It's
until the
so
end.
weird. It's like I had no idea where it came from, though it is shaped like a shark's mouth.
Yeah.
It's like the whole until she finally reveals this really dark story of where she got this
Yeah.
shark bite on her leg. Everyone who saw it was like confounded. They're like, "Wow, how'd you get that?"
I also
You really hate sharks,
Yeah.
huh? Because you like stabs that one in the head with a cold
Yeah.
cube. Like, wow, you really don't like sharks. It's like, no, but
No,
also it's in the bar.
it's gonna kill
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't she not live on the water?
Why wouldn't you?
I know she lived right on the water.
Just right on the water.
She hates
worked
sharks
on
so
the
much.
water.
Yeah,
lived on the water.
It's so
she
she
didn't even
can-
live in like Beverly Hills.
Yeah,
like,
she can
could-
cuss out the sharks every day. I want to be close to them.
Keep an eye on 'em.
Keep an eye on them.
That was weird. I think about that a lot. It's not just this movie. It happens in a lot of movies where they'll be like, and that's why I'm scared of volcanoes. And it's like, then why do you live in Hawaii?
Yeah.
Volcanoes are not a big deal in most of the world. Like you could go almost anywhere else. You go to basically anywhere else.
Yeah.
We should talk about where the scar actually came from. Does anybody think they can do a good job of recapping her like weird ass story?
It had a lot of twists and turns.
Yeah.
It killed her grandpa.
She was
Yeah.
on a fishing trip with
Right.
her grandpa and some other people.
And his old man friends.
Yes.
Already
Right.
doesn't sound very fun.
Yeah, was
And
she the
then
only kid on the
she was
trip?
the only
so.
kid.
She said 6 people went into the water.
Is that a Jaws reference?
I don't
Yes.
know.
And only
Well,
one
a lot
comes
of
out
And
of the
only
water?
one-
Yes.
Yeah.
But she went 6 people came into the water and only one girl came out of the water
Yeah.
without a grandpa or any of his old men.
Yeah.
Also, they were dead.
Yeah, basically, like the USS Indianapolis just happened to her and her grandfather and her friends. Are you? Oh, that's a whole thing. That's a different story for another time.
Is it
but
about? Is it a
don't
real
know
thing happened to sharks?
It's a real thing that happened to
sharks.
To sharks.
Sorry, I
Sharks were the
sharks
victims
are the
in this
victims
one.
here.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
I just assumed you were talking about like Pearl Harbor or something where a boat
No.
went down and you're like, it's like that, but
But with
Well,
sharks.
with sharks, an old man, and a child.
yeah. Well, basically,
like the same thing.
The USS Indianapolis was like a U.S. Like warship that got bombed, and everybody like felt like jumped overboard. So for the next like 4 or 5 days, there's just like hundreds of people floating in the water, and it was the biggest like mass shark attack in
Whoa.
like known history.
Wow.
It was really harrowing stuff. So that's what that Jaws like the story in Jaws is based on that, or they might even reference it directly, and then that's what her story is based on too.
Okay.
She's stranded
okay.
and everybody gets picked off all around her, and it's
Except
really
for
like
her.
scars her for life.
And then she's been
I-
floating for 2 days, and then the Coast Guard finds her.
That's right.
And then I guess she went back to her parents and said, I had a crazy time with Grandpa. I also have some news about Grandpa.
Yeah, see,
It's all I'm very confused.
yeah.
the sad thing is, I have not seen Jaws, but I recognize
watch
that
Jaws.
line from
Now you'll
Master
enjoy
of Disguise.
Okay.
Okay.
And I was like, if it's in Master of Disguise, I assume they're not referencing that.
You've never
I-
seen Jaws?
No.
You should watch Jaws.
Yeah.
I mean, you've kind of seen it. So.
I'm going to be really underwhelmed and be like, there's only
One
What?
shark?
Yeah. Okay, weird.
If you've read
Oh,
Crack
you're breaking it.
Magazine's 1983 lampooning of Jaws, then you've already learned as much as you need to about Jaws.
I haven't, but I'm sure the puns are incredible.
Excellent. So now speaking of that just harrowing incident, that she described her whole backstory why she has the scar. She ends that with, let's see, the exact line is, "They took my grandfather, so I really hate sharks."
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's when I think this movie
That tracks.
absolutely crushes it, when they're being dramatic. It's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Because then, so she says, "So I really hate sharks," and then there's another dramatic pause. And the dude, her new love interest, says, "Now I really hate sharks too." That's
yeah,
it.
that was
Yes.
funny actually.
It was really funny.
I think
made me
that
laugh.
was fun. I mean, clearly they made this movie, like, it's not The Room. It's like what we've been saying. It's not a movie that ever expected to be anything more than what it
Correct.
ended up being. Which usually for me, and I think the harder parts of this movie for me to watch were where it's like,
Yeah.
all right, you
There's
know
like
it's a bad movie and you're trying to be cheesy. But there were a lot of, again, I think you're actually right, just the cast having fun.
Yeah.
Made it fun enough to get over the fact that it's like,
Stupid.
but like intentionally stupid.
Right, but they were not under the delusion they were making like a psychosexual thriller, like when they were making The Room.
Right.
I was for much of the film.
Like when they were making The Room, they really were like, "This is Eyes Wide Shut."
Right.
Do you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Right,
and
right.
like
And
that's
that's
why
fun.
it's fun now, but like it's not like the actors aren't having fun.
No, no.
They
Yeah.
think they're doing Eyes Wide Shut. So you're like,
Right.
wow, like but like Tara Reid's under no
No, yeah.
delusions here, and I think that's what. There are a couple scenes where I guess just like for the sake of like story structure, they need to take some things seriously. Like when the son's like, "I want to bomb the tornado," and they're like,
Yes.
"You're our only son, you can't." He like has a kind of serious scene about how like it's his like duty to protect and serve, and it would be his honor to do so. But then it clearly was like kind of written, like kind of probably rewritten in rewrites because the camera's never on him when he's saying it. It's just reaction shots
Yeah.
of him in ADR. That's how you know. That's where the too many cooks in the kitchen. Whatever that line is, they should have just left it be what it was. He probably was just like, "I just want to kill some fucking sharks."
Yeah.
And somebody was like, "We need to up the stakes here. We're moving."
My
into the
grandfather
last-"
was killed by a tornado.
Yeah. I want to bomb the
I hate
tornado.
tornadoes. And now, no, I do
I
too.
do too.
I feel like, yeah, there were definitely
That's Twister.
there were definitely lines in there that were like when the daughter, like Claudia or whatever, is like crying in the hardware store.
Yes.
And he's like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "I'm very sad because you seem to love the brother more than me." And he's like, "Now?"
Yeah.
And then it never comes back.
Yes. I love
And
it.
it's like,
Great.
we're busy. And she's presumably off screen like, "You're right. I should just stop
I shouldn't."
complaining."
Yeah, and she also like tied into that gripe her newfound gripe that like mom and dad are getting along again.
Right. Yeah.
Now you're being nice to mom. That's so fucked up,
Yeah,
dad.
why was that so fucked up to her?
I guess because he hadn't been at other points and maybe it takes the Sharknado for them to connect.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's the point. She's like, "You only like her because Mark got eaten horribly in front of her.
Yeah.
You're just trying to swing in." Which,
I didn't understand why she was so anti the parents getting along.
I know.
It feels like it would be the other way, where you'd be like, "Can we
Parent
all
trapping?
stop fighting? There's a Sharknado outside."
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, they didn't really fight that much.
That's what I'm saying. They
Yeah.
kind of went right back into their old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Like,
were,
"Oh, Mark's out, so
Yeah,
what are
they
you doing?
were,
What are
they
you
were-
doing?"
They were at odds when they first met up again until Nova started like skeet shooting sharks out of the sky,
Yeah.
and then Tara Reid was officially like on board with this plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was also, she came in hot. She was like, "You show up here covered in blood with a stripper," and she's like, "I'm not a stripper." Bang, 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 bang. And
maybe
then
I
she was
used
like,
to be.
"Okay," and then they were tight for the rest of the movie.
I love how terrible that boyfriend is.
Oh man,
Yes.
he's such a caricature.
He's on it for like 2 seconds and
Yeah.
he's the worst person alive. I
Yeah.
love it.
That must be a fun audition.
That was
Do you know
so
what I'm
fun.
saying?
Yeah.
Like when you're like, I'm going in for a boyfriend who dies and is an asshole before then. You probably read 3 lines of dialogue and
Yeah.
you're like, that guy's a douchebag. Let's get him. That's great. That's like an actor's dream, I think, actually.
I wonder how much casting they do for stuff like. I mean, I guess they do their due diligence or whatever. But do you think they just like, "All right, we're doing it at 3 p.m. tomorrow at the Taco Bell. Anybody?"
Well, the
Who shows up
you know,
has
like
a chance.
the retirement home scene. Okay, half of those people are very young. I don't know if you
Yeah.
noticed. Like
Oh.
they were like okay, maybe 40 to 50.
I thought maybe
Yeah.
they were staff. But now that you're saying it, that makes no sense.
There were some like painted on liver spots and stuff
yeah.
like that.
And so I was like, how do you cast this?
Yeah.
Are you just like generally if you're above 35, like get on in here?
You're pretty old,
Yeah.
I guess.
Good.
I mean, I assume for any role over 5 lines of dialogue, they had like real auditions with
Yeah.
the casting
Yeah.
director, and they had a bunch of guys come in to read for Shitty Boyfriend. And one guy went in and was the shittiest, and they were like,
Just the shittiest.
"Get that guy."
You suck.
Between
Get
him
in
and
here.
John Hurd, they did really good jobs of me like rooting for them to get eaten by a shark. Like John Hurd was just he's the creepy old
Yeah, he's the one
man.
who said, "Oh, get off of me."
Big, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
biggest creep right off the bat, and I don't know how Nova would even like put up with him in any way. Like
Yeah.
she'd still like wink and smile at him.
Well, he's
After, like-
rich. Maybe he tipped well.
Yeah. I guess so.
Did he own the bar stool? He just liked
He just liked it.
Liked it. There was a shot of it destroyed
Oh,
that I really loved. That it was it standing, but they had like photoshopped a bunch of just like boards on the top. Do you know what I'm talking about? As they're like saying goodbye to it, they're like, it's ruined, and it's just like a fully standing structure with like loose boards atop it.
Oh, you mean the whole bar? I meant the stool.
The literal stool.
Oh, I thought that
Because-
the thing was called the bar stool. Sorry.
Oh, it might be. It's probably called the shark.
I think
Sharktina.
it's called like Finn's Pub or something. Like you see the word
I'm
Finn on the side of the bar at some point.
Yeah, it is funny
Awfully
that
full of
the
himself.
bar. They go out of the way to blow up other buildings, but the bar is mostly fun.
Yeah.
Fine.
But
And then
he-
she's looking at it like, my home.
Yeah.
It's like, it's fine. You just need to get the boards off the top of it. Then it's a fully standing four-walled structure. It's fine.
It's just the guy, whatever it's John Hurt or whatever. He literally carries the stool out because he's like, it's my favorite, and then he
Oh,
beats.
I didn't even catch that.
He beats a
He
shark
uses
to
it.
death with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's in the bar
it's,
stool.
he's a hero.
it's actually
He's a
very
hero.
redemptive. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's actually a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except then he starts creeping on her in the car. He's like, I come here all the time because
Yeah.
I want to marry you.
Yeah.
That's what he sounded like.
Are you married?
Incredible impression.
I also just like his first line of dialogue was like, "You still not gonna tell me what that scar is?" Which I loved. Where it's like, no, I guess she's still not going to tell you what that scar
That's
is.
right.
What a weird thing to say to any
Yes.
person,
Yeah.
stranger or otherwise.
Speaking of the beginning of things, I love that Australian and Finn are walking down the beach. Baz, I think is his name.
Yes.
Walking down the beach. Finn's got a surfboard. He gets in the water, and then Baz is like, and now I'm on my jet ski. And I was like, huh, you just parked it there, I guess. And then the woman's putting on a wetsuit.
Yeah.
And then they do 10 minutes of movie, and then she puts on
Yeah.
the wetsuit, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh, man, she's
what
been
happened?
struggling on the beach. She's like, hey,
Sorry, it's a little
you
tight.
go, and then you old man. Ah! Anyway, I just love the thought that he had parked his jet ski there, and then like walked down the beach while he carried a surfboard, and then they came
Yeah,
back.
and then walked back, and then they got to like the peak of their like cute, fun little conversation right when they got back. Yeah.
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 So can I ask a question?
Oh yeah.
May, yes.
Why do we think these sharks want to eat people so badly?
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
I
we
think I know
have-
why.
Theories?
Well, because
Global warming?
I was gonna say angry about global warming.
Oh,
I mean, that could be
They
it.
know.
You know? They
they're
know.
smart, and they're so old too. They have like they can compare the temperature now to like 600 years ago or whatever.
You think
Better
these
than any
sharks
other
are
animal.
600 years old?
Some of them, yeah.
They're like,
Sharks
this
get old.
isn't my first Sharknado. Let me tell you.
These things usually happen once every 300
Yeah,
years.
but now it's really picking up. It's like once a year, from 13 to 17 or whenever they came out, 18.
Yeah.
How old do you think sharks are?
Some of them get old as hell. Yeah. What did I say? 600 years?
You
Yeah.
said 600.
I'm gonna stick by that. I'm gonna
Okay.
stick by
I think
that.
you
They're
said they all
sea
were
turtles,
600.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so why do you think they're so mad?
Oh, okay. They say that because some blood got into the sewer grates and that flipped on a feeding frenzy.
Huh.
Oh.
But
But then why are they like leaping out of the sewer grates to kill kids on a wire?
Yeah, no, that one's tough. That's hard for me
they
to
do
square.
mention things about like don't bleed because like the sharks will bite.
Yeah. I think they leaned really heavily into the whole thing with like sharks can smell blood from like
Yeah.
Yeah.
a
But
million
they're not
miles away.
choosing to get. They're not like I smell blood. I'm gonna hitch a ride on this NATO, and
Right.
then
Correct.
get the to get
Like
the
it makes
child.
it seem like they're like, oh, I love being up here in the air.
Yes.
Like
This is where I was
can
meant to be.
Yeah, I can finally get all the blood of LA. couldn't reach it.
And there's
This
not even
inland.
like
Yeah.
shots of the sharks in the middle of the street seeming distressed to be in the middle of the street. They're
Right.
just like, I'm in the fucking middle of the street. like they don't even seem like they truly
Yes.
feel in their element.
Yeah, they're like finally.
They've been training for this.
Well, it's because
Yeah.
every stock footage they're 20 miles under the surface, so every
Correct.
street is
Yeah.
much more flooded than you realize.
But even the ones that are like dry,
Yeah.
like you'll see ones like flopping around, but they're never like.
they're
always like,
flopping
"Arr, arr,
to
arr."
kill.
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
very just happy to be there.
Yeah.
They do
Yeah.
about halfway through the movie. They start like growling and grunting when they're in the air. Like
Yeah.
I think they forgot to. Yeah, that type of
Yeah.
stuff. And when this is at the very end when a lot of times the sharks are more just projectiles than they are hunters. And but Finn every time chooses to stand in the path of a falling shark and either lance it with a lamp pole or something, or the end, pretty sick, he like dives into the mouth of a falling shark with like a chainsaw. Yeah. And the shark makes an audible gulp sound like it's a cartoon.
Right. I think what's weird though is 5 minutes before that he just cuts it in half with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
He has no need to dive into it.
Right.
Yeah, but he had to get out. What's her name?
You didn't
Nova.
know that?
It's no way.
You think he just found her in there? You think he was like, oh, thank God, this is the shark that ate Nova? I thought he went in to get her.
No, I thought it was just purely accidental.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So I thought this movie, in a lot of ways, was like the exact opposite of Perfume, the story of a murder, which we watched for
I was
our
also
first
thinking
aired
it was
episode.
the exact opposite of
like
Perfume.
no
Story of
tornadoes, no
Murder.
sharks.
Because so Perfume is all about like this like well shot stuff that's meant to like signify like an olfactory experience or whatever. Sharknado looks like shit on the screen, but it sounds so cool when you describe it. So like he like laser beamed a shark in half with a chainsaw. That sounds so cool, and it looks so dumb in the movie.
It does look terrible.
Yes.
And Perfume is really hard to describe. Well, like he smells things, but like powerfully.
You should watch this movie.
Wow, incredible.
It's
I love watching people like smell.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a lot of like close-up nostril shots. Are we scared of sharks? I mean, like
from this movie, it makes it even less scary because it's like, well, that would never happen, so I'm good.
So
Unless there's a tornado, also. I mean, I guess the sharks being scared up to the beach was much scarier than the possibility of them flying
correct.
the sky.
Yeah. I feel like it's very likely that I could be goofing around on the beach and not listening to the one guy that's sort of like half-heartedly saying, "Shark,
Guys,
Yeah.
get out!
come on,
What are you doing?
Please,
Yeah.
guys.
serious."
And then cut to the guy tanning but wearing a huge T-shirt.
That
He's, like
was funny.
sitting there. No, I'm good. I don't need to run from the sharks.
I'm on the sand. There's no way the sharks are gonna make it all the way up here. Finn sounded like he was saying all those lines like from the bathroom of his apartment, and he didn't want to like disturb his roommates. You know, he had that energy where he's just like couldn't really commit to any sort of urgency, even in the most urgent possible of situations. And it started the very first time he saw a shark, and he's like, "Shark,
Shark.
shark over here, get it, guys should get out."
Yeah.
It's a bitey one.
It's
Yeah.
one of the bitey ones.
And then they make a big deal about how the shark bit Baz, and he saved them purely by looking at it and being like, "Stop!" And the shark was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
He actually saved him by lightly bonking the shark with his surfboard.
Yes.
It wasn't even that hard.
That's right.
Although apparently that is what you're supposed to do.
Just
Yeah,
kinda
They have very
Nose.
sensitive like noses, and that like if like a
Oh.
shark is coming towards you, if you can like hit it really hard on the nose,
So
it
it's
will often
not
be like
that opposite
"Ow!" and like leave.
It's not that opposite from Perfume then.
The nose is the key.
The nose is the key.
Every movie is Perfume. I don't know if you know this, but every movie in the whole world is Perfume. We just didn't know that because we hadn't seen Perfume.
Oh.
I'm gonna write the Asylum version of Perfume.
That's so funny. I wish you knew how funny that was in saying it, because in the movie there's like an orgy and stuff.
Oh
yeah.
wow.
So like a CG.
It's gonna be
love
CGI.
Oh no.
They have like 3 actors and they just duplicate them.
Yes, and I like to imagine a grandma bringing home the DVD of Cologne.
Cologne, yeah.
For their kid for
no.
like
Yeah.
Christmas, and being like, "Isn't this what you asked for?
Yeah,
it's
like,
cologne."
No, I want perfume.
I don't know.
Wow, they got Bob De Niro for this one too.
Anyway.
Oh man.
The B-roll footage, the storm footage.
Yeah.
There was one where the sign was in Japanese. It's
Really?
like clearly a storm, like a
love that.
news footage storm from Japan. And I was like, cool, absolutely.
So good.
They didn't
That's
even take
amazing.
out the sign; just leave it in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and like some of the storm footage was obviously just like regular clouds, just like sped up.
Yeah,
Like,
lots of that, and a lot
Yeah.
of like storms CGI'd onto an otherwise blue sky.
yeah.
There was a
Yes.
lot of that where it's like, "Oh no, the tornado," and it would be like blue, clear sky over
Yeah.
Beverly Hills, and then like a big tornado coming towards
Yes.
it this way.
The
They
only
just didn't
consistent
try.
thing was the weather was inconsistent.
Correct.
Yeah.
LA, right?
Yeah.
So LA.
Well, then, like,
So
we
LA.
took the 405
Yeah.
and
Taking
the
the
sharks
ones
and the
with
weather.
their
It's
eyes.
Classic 405.
Actually, they did film all of it in blue skies like clear. Like they made a point to do
Right.
that so that it was easier to CG.
Oh, I mean,
they-
you could tell that it was so successful that it must have been easier.
Yeah.
They did try
did
to,
it.
They tried to like storm chase, like they compared it to like actually like the movie Twister. They were storm chasing because there was like a thunder shower for literally 10 minutes in LA. So they're like, we gotta get over there and like film as much as possible. And then 10 minutes that it's raining.
That's funny.
Don't know that it was used.
I did think it was interesting. They did such a fun job of choreographing when somebody was going to die.
Yeah.
They would like walk to the middle of the frame. They would be by themselves, and they were like, "What about?"
What's
they would like say,
happening?
"Yeah, my mom said Hollywood was going to kill me." Gush. Or like they go to the hangar where everybody's like hiding in a closet.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And she's like got her gun out like, "There's going to be a shark in that closet."
Yeah. That's right.
Gotta be a shark in that closet.
Right, and then they're just like, "Oh shit, we were all, reenacting Perfume in here."
We're all
And then she walks out and she's like, "I'm just gonna stand in the middle of this hangar, because why not?" And, she gets
Yes.
sucked out of the whatever. It was really funny how they always choreograph that and set that up really nicely.
Yeah.
I appreciated that. So I wasn't confused.
I did get the sense that somebody was watching Twister and
Oh, yeah.
saw the part where the cow gets picked up and went, what if that wasn't a cow? Like, I think that was like truly as far as the
Wow.
thought process
Yeah.
went. It's being like, what'd be scary is if that was a shark. Oh my God. Like, that's it, I think.
It's like, what if the cow like bit somebody?
Wait,
if a
what
shark-
animals do bite
What's a more normal bitey animal?
Wait, can you get milk out of sharks? No.
Wait, backwards. I'm going backwards. The scary part's the biting, not the milk. Oh God.
I couldn't remember what was the nugget of the idea, the kernel.
Ah! Sorry.
Oh, we need more spiders in here.
No.
Man, if we had more spiders, we wouldn't have no bugs.
What if it sucked up a bunch of flies?
Whoa.
Whoa.
No, that is
Whoa! Very scary, actually.
a legitimate question, which I think the answer is just they didn't want to use the CG budget. But why were there no other critters or even... Oh,
See?
that was annoying.
This is the fun part about doing it live. You can all be affected by the same bug.
I don't like that bug.
I don't like that bug.
But there was no fish. There were no,
No.
like...
Yeah, it's only
snakes.
sharks.
Just sharks.
What's the budget?
I guess, yeah, it has to be the budget. Or is it something about the aerodynamics of a shark? Just much better than...
Came for you.
It came from me. I'm trying to be calm and cool.
They might be more the car is not more aerodynamic. Did you kill it?
I killed
Oh,
it.
you killed it. Nice.
Sharknado.
That was really impressive.
Sharknado.
I'm not sure I've ever actually seen somebody just like clap a fly to death.
I'm actually pretty good at it.
Yeah, we've never had like a
Really?
live murder on the
Can we
podcast.
get that like slowed down? That was really
Wow, thank
was-
you. Wow,
It's
I'm glad
sick.
I did this just for that footage.
congratulations.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
That feels like a
Wow.
really good wrap up.
Yeah.
Unless anybody's got anything.
I'm not gonna say anything more impressive than that. That was really cool.
Cool.
Damn.
Does anybody have an alt title for this film? Did you
I've
write
got a
some down?
couple. I wrote down a few.
I feel like
Did
it's
I
so
write one down? I
perfect.
mean, it's got a perfect title.
It is perfect, Sharknado.
Oh, another piece of dialogue I wrote down was when the son watches Nova getting eaten out of midair. His line was, "No! Oh my God!
That's right.
No!
It was very unfortunate.
No! Oh my God! No! I really loved
so
that."
Masterful.
And then he successfully lands the helicopter but passes out.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's like, gunk. Whoa, stress.
Yeah, wow, that one really took a lot out of me.
I'm sleepy. Hey, man.
So my alt titles are also just key lines of dialogue.
Yeah.
Number one, oh crap, look at all those sharks.
Classic.
And then I really hate sharks because perfect sequel title, now I really hate sharks too.
Oh, that's really good.
That's
That's
good.
delightful.
That's my alt.
No, we can't applaud for two things. It has to just
everybody
be a
gets an
fly.
applause break.
I truly didn't think of one because I think Sharknado is a perfect
It is
Can't beat
title.
it.
It is a really perfect title. However,
Okay,
they don't
let's hear
refer to it as a tornado. They refer to it as a water spout.
Shark spout?
it. Shark spout?
Shark
Shark
spout.
spout. Spoutnado.
Spoutnado.
Tornado. The shark is just kind of not part of it anymore.
No sharks.
It's a
So
tornado
sharks.
of water spouts. Right.
I'm taking this.
Almost as scary.
I'm taking this to rewrites. And this time, global warming has meant that a tornado has picked up other tornadoes, and it just keeps shooting out other Category 4 tornadoes until there's just like fucking endless. And those tornadoes can shoot out tornadoes, and we all die.
Well,
It's a pandemic movie.
With
but
tornadoes.
tornadoes.
When I was a
Luckily-
kid, I was so scared of tornadoes that I really did think that something like that could happen.
it could.
You should
it does
write
in
that
some
specifically?
parts of the-
Just, I think I had it in my mind whether or not this is true that if a tornado met another tornado, it would just turn into like one really, really big tornado.
Right.
You never want to make eye contact with a tornado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll
If you
anger it,
bonk
it'll
it really
just-
hard on the nose,
Yeah.
it often goes away.
Oh, well, we didn't even mention this, that they defeat the Sharknadoes, there's 3 of them by the end, by just dropping a bomb into them.
Yeah,
That's
it's
right.
bomb.
Which I looked it up. It's actually not that
Okay, we don't
inaccurate.
we don't want to get all political here.
It's not inaccurate to break up a tornado with a bomb or to kill the things in a tornado.
No. So in 2006, Scientific American was like, I mean, if you bombed a tornado, that'd work about as well as anything. And so,
About as well as anything doing what? To break
well,
it up?
I don't know any
I
other
guess
way
we
to.
don't really have any
Yeah,
other
is there
way.
any other option?
I don't know, but they were like, you could theoretically kind of blow it up a little bit, and that would probably be fine.
Wow.
I don't know the specifics. I don't know that they would recommend like flying a helicopter versus like even say a car
A car.
that they had, and then
Oh,
you
yeah.
could and then fly away as opposed to like getting sucked in. But yeah, I don't think that's of all the dumb things. I actually don't think that's super inaccurate.
They say that it's,
Interesting.
theoretically possible, but I don't think anyone's ever made a storm go away with a bomb.
Probably not. I'm just saying that it's closer to true than the premise that a shark would be dragged like 80 miles inland and then eat terribly.
I thought that they were going to bomb it because it would kill all the sharks so that when they all fell out of the sky, they'd be falling out of the sky dead
Yeah, I think it's
rather
a
than
2
alive.
flying sharks with 1 stone kind of.
Yeah.
So really, it's genius.
It is.
He spent a lot of
the
time on
source.
that.
I'm
the
so
third
glad
half.
that they all knew how to build bombs.
They all knew how to build
That's
bombs.
pretty chill.
And how to activate them.
Right.
Yes.
But they only gave the tutorial when they needed to drop it. Bad idea.
Yeah.
But they also brought 3 bombs. They got 3 tornadoes. They figured, we're just gonna need 3
They also
bombs.
had like jaunty little stickers for all the bombs,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
a
yeah,
little
the
smiley
winky
face.
face, yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
Could have made their own.
It's like these
Yeah.
guys are
Yeah.
cool.
you got to make it your own. For
Yeah. My title is just The Kangaroos Are Out of the Paddock because I like the idea of most people being very confused, but then the Australians in the back being like,
This is exactly what I
right, this
Yeah.
is what I...
We've been warning you.
yeah.
That's why we have that famous saying where we come from, the kangaroos are out of the
Right.
paddock.
In
This is what we're
reference
referring to.
Sharknadoes. Yeah. I was
is
just
it.
like, yeah, it makes sense. Everybody was like, what the hell?
Right.
Like, nah, that's it. Anyway.
I mean, every animal in Australia is like basically trying to kill you. They're all
That's
like
true.
very dangerous and very venomous. So I feel like if an Australian person watched Sharknado, they'd be like,
Another day.
Yeah, I've fought kangaroos, not in a paddock.
Just
as
like
bad.
this.
Yeah.
That's true. Once I was a kid, I met a kangaroo, and I had a little bag, paper bag full of Rice Krispies because I like to eat Rice Krispies. You're supposed to like put your hand in and like give them the Rice Krispies, but instead, what happens is that all the kangaroos come to you and they like rip it out of your hands, and it's really scary.
That's so scary.
It was really actually very scary. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, here I go. And instead, they all like were, like ripping it. I was like, no. And then like another one came and they like tore the bottom out, and then like one like hit my legs and I fell, and they all like
What?
descended on the
Oh my
Rice
God.
Krispies.
That's scary.
I
That's
think
scary.
kangaroo tornado would be
Very scary.
that
well
is
because they
so
could hit the
scary.
ground running.
Yes.
And they would get you.
No.
Kangaroo jack you.
I think we should make Kangnado.
Okay. Perfect title.
I really hate kangaroos.
And I hate
Kangaroo-nado?
kangaroos too. Is that-
Kangaroo. Yeah, I could tell that story. I could be like, and then
Yeah.
they hit my legs with their tail.
Yeah, how'd you get that kangaroo
Scar.
scar?
Wait, there was a scene. I should have taken notes. Shark falls onto the street, lands, and then the marking on it is like a cartoon shark. Did you see that? Like
No,
with
but
the
that's
fin,
so
and it's
funny.
like the exact, like it's like this shape on
I
the
love it.
concrete,
Was it
and I was
when
like, that's incredible.
Was it when it landed on like Grauman's Theater or whatever?
It just like yeah,
Oh, it's shark shape.
It's
Oh, 'cause
just like
that's why,
shark
right,
shape.
That's why it was a shape, because it was like putting its
It
print
literally
in,
just went yeah.
I
There's
love
also
that.
the shark that landed on the hood of a car and like rode on it, like held
I
on
love
it.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would have been fun if it had more cartoon physics like that.
Yeah, like that,
Like
where
when
it's
he
like-
eats the girl Nova, she'd be like, Ooh, when he pulls out like a full skeleton.
Bones?
Like when they pull bones out of a fish. I think it should have been like that.
That would be very delightful.
Using its fin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, by the way, how it ends. Fiend.
Fiend.
That's right.
Yeah.
So many layers.
Very powerful.
Yeah. I gotta be honest, every time I watch Finding Nemo, which is a great movie, and the thing comes up and it says end, I'm always like, fuck you.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Well, yeah. Sharknado figured it out. Come on.
Sharknado figured it out.
Yeah.
We can't get the best minds in all of movie making on this one.
Where was Thunder when they were making Finding
Thunder?
Nemo?
Thunder Levin in here.
He actually used to work there. They rejected that idea, and he was like, I'm gonna go make my own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to Asylum.
Amazing.
What's the opposite of a Pixar? An asylum.
All right, where can we find you? You.
I'm on Twitter at Miss Alice Nutting. MSALICENUTTING. Really long. Sorry about that.
I am on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter at Jenny Arimoto.
Fantastic.
I'm on Twitter at Eisemann, EISEMANN.
I'm on Twitter at _J_breeding and the Cracked channel. I make a lot of those.
This is the channel right here. You're looking at
And
it.
I think I'm supposed to say something specific, but I don't have my notes. So we have a newsletter called Crack Movie Club where I write essays all the time.
Fantastic.
And we are also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and YouTube, depending on where you're listening or watching this. I think that's it.
I don't know what to tell you. That's it.